preference, right? So if I'm a Black woman who desires to date a man who has a certain faith that he practices, that's in line with mine, that makes a certain amount of money,
now you'll go there,
that has maybe a certain limit with how many children he already has.
There it is. I knew it was coming.
Here I come. Oh, here I come.
Preference, right? So if I'm a Black woman who desires to date a man who has a certain faith that he practices, that's in line with mine, that makes a certain amount of money,
now you'll go there,
that has maybe a certain limit with how many children he already has.
We have to go back to the statistics. She's alluding to the fact that she believes all these Black men have children. So what you guys are looking at here is the National Health Statistic Reports from the past 13 years. Fertility of men and women aged 15 to 44 in the United States, National Survey of Family Growth. First one is 2006 to 2010. Second one right there in the middle is 2011 to 2015. And then the final one on the right is 2015 to 2019. They've been actually doing this study since 1973, which is ironically when they started recording the statistics for the child deletion rates.
As founder of the American Birth Control League, which later became Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger was no doubt a controversial figure with disturbing views on eugenics, race, and population control. While some argue she even wanted to exterminate the Black race, others are trying to erase that part of her past.
The Mike Wallace Interview.
In the eyes of some, Margaret Sanger has been a heroine. In the eyes of others, she's been a destructive force.
In her own words, Sanger pushed for a society that limited births to those she deemed fit to have children.
I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born.
In 1916, Sanger opened the country's first birth control clinic. As a member of the American Eugenics Society, she advocated improving the genetic composition of humans through controlled reproduction of different races and classes. She often wrote about the issue in the journal she founded, called the Birth Control Review. In 1919, writing,
I personally believe in the sterilization of the feeble-minded, the insane, and the syphilitic. The most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the over-fertility of the mentally and physically defective.
What you're looking at the bottom, it tells you for every report. So from 2006 to 2010, 61.7% of Black women had ever fathered a child. For Black men, 49.1% between the years of 2006 to 2010. From 2011 to 2015, 57.1% of Black women, and then 46.6% for Black men. And then for 2015 to 2019, which is the most recent report that was released in 2023 of January, 61% of Black women, 46% of Black men had fathered children. In the past 13 years, there's never been a year or a time span where the majority of Black men had ever fathered a child. You can find this information here if you want to check my sources. This is within the report. You can see the actual numbers that I put out there for you guys. So before we move any further, she's under the impression that there's more Black men that have children. No, there's actually 15% more Black women that have birthed children than Black men have fathered. So the likelihood of you, depending on which age range that you want to, date in, yes, there's going to be probably more Black men between the ages of like 40 and up that have children. I'm going to go over that graph in a second. But yes, as a whole, only 46% of Black men have ever fathered children. 61% of Black women have ever mothered children. So no, young lady, you have a better shot of finding a Black man that doesn't have kids. Statistically, it's tougher for men to find childless women. Key facts: Asian are the only group of women with a birth rate lower than 50%. And then the largest birth rate gap by percentage is among black women and black men at 15%. The number of children, so there's 39% of black women who don't have children, who have never mothered children. There's 54% of black men who don't have children, who have never fathered a child. That 54% is going to come in handy here in a second. So one child, 17.1% of black women have one child. 16.5% of black men have fathered one child. 2 children for black women, 21.4%. For black men, 15.2%. 3 children for black women, 12.9%. 3 children for black men, 7.2%. So again, this is debunking all those narratives that she had in regards to the amount or the number of children that black men have, because in every category, including 4 or more children, 9.5%, 4 or more children for black men, 7.1%. So even though we've seen videos of Iyanla Vanzant bringing up 3 black men that have a gang of buckaroos.
These men have 87 children, 50 different women.
We see Cam Newton. We see Nick Cannon. Those brothers are the minority, okay? That's not the majority of black men that have kids, okay? I just want to be very clear on that. They are the minority black community. Between 2015 and 2019, 77.1% of the children that black women had were birthed before they turned 25, which actually affects their college, marital expectations. And then 24 and under for black men, 52.1% of the children that black men had fathered was before they turned 25 years old. So again, there's a significant gap right there, because this is the graph that the black community likes to say that 80.5% of black men have children. No, black community. And I'm speaking directly to this young woman because she says she was 39.
As a black woman, I don't believe wholeheartedly that any man other than a black man can truly connect with me in the way that you described.
Right. Yeah.
On the other side of that, I have to also own the fact that there are frustrations that I have with a sect of black men in this generation when it comes to partnering, when it comes to potentially being a husband or even a viable boyfriend. That has now put me in a position where, even though I really don't want to be open to dating men outside my race, I don't want to do it. Let me be very clear.
There.
It's not what I want.
That makes sense.
But it's something that at almost 39 years old, still desiring a family in that life, I may have to be open to.
Yeah.
So let's say she wanted to marry a black man who was 40 and up. So the likelihood of a black man between the ages of 40 to 49 having a child is 80.5%. If you were trying to find a black man between 40 and 49 to marry, 80.5% have a child. Only 19.5% don't have kids. But on the same situation, 87% of black women who are between 40 and 49 have a child. Okay, so it's a little bit more on black women's side. So it will be harder or tougher for a black man between 40 and 49 to find a black woman without children between 40 and 49, ages 40 to 49. And this is the most important one, because I did a full breakdown of the children out of wedlock statistics so we can put this conversation to bed once and for all. And I asked this question for the black community. In 2023, the birth rate for unmarried black women ages 15 to 44 was 69.3%. And I asked, how do you read/interpret that statement? I gave 2 options. 69.3% of black women had 69.3% of children out of wedlock with black men, which would mean it's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1 ratio. So if you have 69 black women, those 69 black women, they selected 69 black men and they all had a child together. So you got 1 black man, 1 black woman, they come together, have a kid. Then the second black man and the second black woman, they come together, they have a kid. Is that how people mate? Do people mate on a 1-to-1 ratio? Or black women had 69.3% of their children out of wedlock with men that they choose to procreate with.
He is the father of 34 children with 17 different women.
This would mean it's an inverse ratio. This means that when one quantity increases, births, the other decreases proportionally, fathers. Between 2015 and 2019, 1.8 million, 18% of black men between the ages of 15 to 44 have fathered 3.4 million, 72% children out of wedlock. And this is approximately. So I know people are looking at that and they're like, if 69.3% of black women had children out of wedlock, then that means that black men have a higher rate of children out of wedlock, having their children out of wedlock. In theory, and to that conclusion, yes, because 72% is actually higher than 69.3%. But married black women have mothered 645,000 more children than married black men have fathered. Non-married black women have mothered 1 million more children than non-married black men have fathered. Black fathers, what we know, 46% of black men have ever fathered children. We just covered that. Of that 46% of black men who have ever fathered children, 72%, and the most recent numbers that I can find was from 2006 to 2008. However, the black man's birth rate that you guys seen, it pretty much didn't change from 46%. So I would assume that it stayed the same in regards to the 72% were fathered by unmarried black men out of wedlock, which means that 28% of black children were fathered by black men while married. Black mothers, what we know, 61% of black women have ever mothered children. Of the 61% of black women who have ever mothered children, 69.3% were mothered by unmarried black women out of wedlock. If you only have 46% of black men who have ever fathered children, 72% of that 46% were fathered out of wedlock. But since black women have more children than black men, at 61%, you take out the 69.3%, that's why you get a higher rate of black women with children. And that also alludes to the fact that black women may be having children with other races of men. Make sense? Let me know. And I'm not done. I'm just giving you a quick synopsis of what you just heard, okay? Which means that 30.7% of children were birthed by married black women. Black fathers again. I said, what is 46% of 10.3 million? That is the black men between the ages of 15 to 44. That will be 4.7 million total black fathers. And then what is 72%, which is non-marital children fathered by black men, of 4.7 million total black fathers. That is 3.4 million non-marital children fathered by black men. What is 28%? Children fathered by married black men of 4.7 million total black fathers. That is 1.3 million children fathered by married black men. Children fathered by married black men. It's 1.3 million. And then there's 36% of black men who are currently married. So children fathered by non-married black men, 3.4 million. 64% of black men are currently not married. Black mothers, 61. What is 61% of 10.5 million? And that is black women ages 15 to 44, 6.4 million. And that's total black mothers. What is 69% non-marital children mothered by black women? Of 6.4 million total black mothers, 4.4 million. What is 30.7% of children mothered by black women out of 6.4 million? That is 1.9 million children mothered by married black women. Children mothered by married black women, 1.9 million, 30.7. And there is 29% of black women who are actually married. So this is children, not black women who are married. Okay, so 30.7% of their children come from married black women. Children mothered by non-married black women, 4.4 million, 69.3%. And then 71% of black women are currently not married. Okay, Pew Research 2023. When we have these conversations, I want to be clear here. 54% of black men are over here. Those black men have never fathered children. So when you talk about the majority of black men as a whole being deadbeat fathers, no, because the majority of black men, 54%, don't have children. Make sense? Okay. Now, with the 46%, of that 46%, 72% of those children fathered by black men come from black men who are not married. Okay? So the 46, that doesn't mean 72% of black men have had children out of wedlock, because 54% don't even have kids. And I know I'm repeating this, but the black community will misconstrue and it'll get all messed up. Okay? So what you can say is that of the 46% of black men, 72% of y'all have had those children out of wedlock. Have at it. Okay? So yeah, even though black women 69.3% is higher than black men. I hope I explained that. And I even went as far as to explain it like this. This information has nothing to do with black fatherhood involvement. Meaning that when you see 72% of black fathers have their children out of wedlock, that does not mean that 72% of black fathers are absent.
And with the first pick in the NFL draft.
I told you I'd be right back.
Now it's time to add the milk.
I'm finally back with it.
About damn time, Dad. You've been at the store for 45 years, piece of shit.
Never mind.
Do not, I repeat, do not mistake the 72% of black men that have fathered children out of wedlock for 72% of black men as a whole. Remember, only 46% of black men between the ages of 15 to 44 have ever fathered children. So, of the 4.7 million, 46% of black fathers, 3.4 million, 72%, were fathered out of wedlock. Remember, there are 5.5 million, 54% of black men between the ages of 15 to 44 who have never fathered children. That leaves 1.8 million, 18% of black men between the ages of 15 to 44 have fathered 3.4 million, 72% children out of wedlock. So 18% of the black men have fathered 72% of their children out of wedlock, which actually lines up with the theory that a lot of people have that the 18% are responsible for almost 80% of the children. Bowling Green State University divorce and marriage statistics, 55% of black men are co-residential, meaning that these fathers live with their children 100% of the time. So yes, co-residential only means that the majority of black men, 55%, actually live with all of their children, 55%. And yes, I do acknowledge the fact that black men are the lowest on the totem pole in regards to only co-residential, 55%. However, that constitutes the majority 100% of the time. And then if you add the both, which is 18%, so you would give about 9% to black men being co-residential with their children. So that would be 64%. And then only non-co-residential means that 26% of black men don't live with any of their kids. But that doesn't mean that 26% are deadbeats, okay? It just means that they don't live with their kids. I want to be very clear on that, because I know you guys have seen this report, right? The CDC report on fathers' involvement proves that black dads are most involved. So this is what the report actually looks like. It was actually released in 2013, spanning 2006 to 2010. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this, this older statistic up is because it's often cited, which it is true. But I've seen people in the black community try to dismiss it because they say that black men were the ones that did the survey. But has anybody ever looked at what the survey consisted of? In the same report, fathers and measures of father involvement. Not all men are biological fathers, and not all fathers have a biological child or biological children. In addition to fathering a child, men may become fathers through adoption, which confers the same legal status, protections, and responsibilities to the man and the child as fathering a biological child. Men may also become de facto fathers when they marry or cohabit with women who have children from previous relationships. They factored all of this, guys. So I'm mentioning this because even when the dynamics are different than biological children, the report still states that black men are still the most involved. From the same report, analysis were restricted to activities in which the man participated with these children within the 4 weeks preceding the interview. So the black community was under the impression that when black men did this survey, they just sat down in an empty office with a piece of paper in front of them and they just checked. I'm involved in my kid's life. Yeah, I feed my kids every day of the week. Check. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the black community is under the impression. Guys, they monitored all of the fathers for 4 weeks preceding the interview. 4 weeks. Okay? So I want y'all to answer this question. Do you really think black women who are the mothers of those children would lie for black men for 4 weeks? Would they lie and allow these black men no. Would they allow these black men just to take their children for 4 weeks to act like they're in their kids' lives? Think about what I'm saying here. For a whole month, let's say black men weren't involved in their children's lives. The ones that were actually, surveyed or interviewed. They weren't in their children's lives before the 4 weeks. They get identified as being in this survey of child involvement. Then they go back to the black women that they had children with and say, hey, let me borrow my kids even though I ain't seen them up until this point. Let me have my kids for these 4 weeks so I can act like I'm in their lives. Does that sound realistic? Seriously, think about what I'm saying here. So activities by age group are presented below. For children aged 5 and under, activities include eating meals with or feeding the children, bathing, diapering, or dressing the children, or helping the children bathe, dress, or use the toilet themselves, playing with the children, reading to the children. For children aged 5 to 18, activities include talking with the children about things that happened during their day, eating meals with the children, helping the children with homework or checking that the homework had been done, taking the children to or from activities. Men were asked how frequently they did each activity in the last 4 weeks. They were given a show card and asked to select one of the following, and they had the response options. And then the report concluded that there was a significant difference by Hispanic origin and race among fathers with co-residential children. Black fathers, 70%, were most likely to have bathed, dressed, diapered, or helped their children use the toilet every day compared to white, 60%, and Hispanic fathers, 45%. Variation by Hispanic origin and race was seen in the percentages of co-residential fathers who ate meals with their children every day. Specifically, Hispanic fathers were less likely to eat meals with their children every day, 64%, than were non-Hispanic white, 74%. And look what we got here. Well. Or non-Hispanic black fathers, 78%. Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. Sweet Christmas.
So that's why black men are the most involved fathers. I'm not done because I know that's easy to dismiss. The black community don't like to hear that because black men were the ones that were involved, okay? And it puts us in a positive light. But I caught y'all asses. Legacy report, they put this out, The Truth About Black Fatherhood. It was revised August 2020. And I already mentioned Josh Levs. The majority of black dads, 2.5 million of around 4.2 million, do live with their dads, and that's about 2/3. As I stated before, in regards to the co-residential BGSU report, 2/3 of black men are actually co-residential or both, which means that 9% carry over. That's about 64%. 2.5 million is about that much as well. So his report lines up with my report. Mothers reports echo fathers, and this is where black women come in. So American and Latino fathers in a 2018 study of non-marital births, mothers reported that black fathers shared responsibilities more frequently and displayed more effective co-parenting than Hispanic and white fathers. So again, black mothers, or mothers in general, echo the same reports as the 2006-2010 report. So you had black men do their interview, and then you had mothers of black men's children say the same thing. That's crazy, right? And I know this is just words. Don't believe me. You can actually pull up the report for yourself. And it was actually peer reviewed, of course. It was published in PubMed Central. Here it is. And this was from 2018, very recent. Race/ethnic differences in non-resident fathers' involvement after a non-marital birth. So this goes directly, or this ties directly into that 72% of black fathers having non-marital children, meaning that they are actually in their lives. Like I said before, just because 72% of those black fathers had their children at a wedlock, that does not mean 72% are deadbeats. Actually, black women said that they're the most involved. Results. Overall, black non-resident resident fathers were significantly more likely to spend time and engage in activities with their children as compared to Hispanic fathers, but not white fathers. Black fathers also share responsibilities more frequently and displayed more effective co-parenting than Hispanic and white fathers. So, black men are actually co-parenting better than other races of men. Go figure.
Dead ass.
So all these baby daddy stories that y'all see, they are the minority, guys. Black fathers. Salute to y'all. And then let's go ahead and add Josh Levs in here if you guys want to check out his book where he actually covered this. And he said the myth, most black kids are fatherless. And I'm just repeating the 2.5 million. And this is his book. It's titled All In: How Our Work First Culture Fails Dads, Families, and Businesses, and How We Can Fix It Together. And this is from the National Center for Family and Marriage Research, Bowling Green State University, National Center for Health Statistics. Man, we not done. We still, I'm still going. Sorry. I'm still standing. I'm still strong.
I'm still standing. I'm still strong.